Writing can provide a cultural critique of our lifestyle in a form which sparks our imagination and allows us to picture a world post-oil. Fictional works help us to relate energy to our social experience beyond the standard language of energy problems and solutions that has so far failed to achieve meaningful change. The language of fiction can also lead to alternate ways of thinking. Scholars such as Timothy Mitchell point out that the economy is a fictional concept that humanity has created. The concept of the economy is not a transcendent reality, and therefore it's not impossible for us to adopt a new economic story, which is not linked to constant, unsustainable growth. The discipline of humanities has always been concerned with social and political topics, so it's not a leap of logic for these studies to encompass climate issues in the form of ecocriticism. William Ruckert coined the term ecocriticism in 1978 with the aim to establish a critical way of examining ecological issues connected to representations of them in literature and culture. Thanks to this literary theory, terms such as petrocultures and anthropocene have entered our vocabulary to help us reframe our reality. I have summarized scholar and activist Imre Szeman's definition of petrocultures from his 2018 GMU interview as the critical analytic term encompassing modern global culture, the description of our society which is organized around energies and the production of fossil fuels, and our dependence on energy in every part of our lives. And finally, petroculture is at our very core. How we see ourselves in relation to the world, nature, and one another is sculpted by energy. The term Anthropocene is an official unit of geologic time used to describe the most recent period in Earth's history, when human activity started to have a significant impact on the planet's climate and ecosystems. Imre Szeman also states that we need to rethink the concept of globalization, not the current definition of borderlessness where CO2 always seems to belong to someone else, but globalization in terms of global decisions and actions being taken on environmental issues, even if this requires a huge shift in current political systems. Activists and authors continue to reach wider audiences, and by doing so, help us to reassess our values and even our place in the world, from an anthropocentric or human-centered way of thinking to a biocentric or earth-centered one. And ecocriticism doesn't stop at words alone. We've all heard that a picture is worth 1,000 words, and complex new ideas can be understood in new depth in a film, photo, or even by graffiti on a wall. These forms of media are much more accessible to our society than a dry academic paper, and can fundamentally alter our perception of the world by appealing to our emotions, which is much more likely to motivate us than numbers and facts.